I mean, I'm gonna be in the ring different. Like I say to him in Spanish, he needs 20 like him to give me a little problems.
Excuse me, language, size difference of a bigger man changes everything with one punch.
Canelo Alvarez means to the Mexican fans what Floyd Money Mayweather meant for black people.
During a live press conference, Canelo Alvarez issued a strong warning to Terence Crawford, confidently asserting that he could defeat him. Canelo emphasized his superior skill, experience, and the advantage of fighting in a higher weight class, dismissing Crawford's threat due to the weight disparity. He believed his height, strength, and seasoned background would secure him victory, viewing the upcoming fight as an opportunity to demonstrate his boxing prowess.
Bud Crawford,
Yeah.
just won his debut at 154. Said if the money's right, we'll fight. Everybody wants that fight. What do you feel about that matchup? People saying the weight, all this stuff. How do you feel about that?
You know, everybody wants to fight me. Everybody calling me out and everything. And you know, like I say, I have nothing to win with Crawford. No, 2-3 weights class less than me. But if the money is right, why not? Right? Why not? But look, I'm focused 100% on Berlanga. I know I have a challenge in front. I never overlooking any fighter. So I'm focused 100% in this, and then we.
Canelo Alvarez stands as the undisputed super middleweight champion, renowned for his strength, precision, and defensive mastery. As the most dominant figure in his division, he dictates the pace and rules of the battle. Conversely, Terence Crawford has established himself as one of the best across multiple weight classes, thanks to his versatility, speed, and high ring IQ. His ability to switch between orthodox and southpaw stances enables him to outmaneuver opponents, making the clash between Canelo's power and experience and Crawford's speed and skill an exciting prospect that could shape boxing history.
Terence Crawford said that he moved up and won, and Canelo moved up and lost. They talk all the crazy stuff about me going up, having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight, won. I don't think that was the strongest, because Canelo Alvarez actually moved up and won. I mean, he moved up a lot of weight classes, but if you want to talk about light heavyweight, he moved up and he beat him. Then he moved up again and he lost. And he lost. Terence Crawford, on the other hand, he moved up to 154. He won 115, 113, but it was just an 11-0 Magnum who didn't really have much of a presence, right? But yeah, there's a difference, to be real. I mean, Bivol is a Hall of Fame. Okay, this guy, you know, all-time light heavyweight. This is a bit different. Canelo did knock out Kovalev when he did move up. Okay, and Kovalev is a bigger challenge and light heavyweight in maximum at 154. Let's just.
Trainer Joel Dios highlights the importance of fighters facing opponents of different sizes, especially as smaller fighters become more skilled against naturally larger adversaries. He stresses that even a single punch can alter the course of a fight, particularly when one fighter is accustomed to competing in a bigger weight class. With the upcoming bout between Crawford and Canelo, Dios points out the significant physical and experience advantages Canelo possesses as a natural super middleweight, including his size, strength, and resilience, which could be decisive against Crawford's speed and technical skills.
A lot of people that say that Crawford can beat Canelo, no problem. I mean, I respect that. I just think they're stupid. I mean, excuse my language. Size difference of a bigger man changes everything with one punch. And I can see the same thing. When you saw Canelo Alvarez fighting another time. Now, look at this. Terence Crawford went from 47 to 54 to fight Magdalene. What did he do to Magdalene? Nothing. Okay, Magdalene was a 54-pounder. Now, to move up to 168, that's 2 more divisions. Canelo Alvarez will take any punch from Crawford, but I don't think Crawford will take any punch from Canelo. Remember, Canelo got hit by Triple G, the heaviest hitter in that division. And Canelo took those shots like a champ. I don't think Crawford has anything to beat
Canelo Alvarez's ascent in boxing is marked by his relentless pursuit of challenging formidable opponents across various weight classes. His victories over larger fighters have solidified his reputation as a resilient and strategic boxer. Beyond the ring, Canelo holds immense cultural significance for Mexican fans, mirroring Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s popularity among black audiences. His journey from humble beginnings resonates deeply, embodying resilience and pride for many Mexicans, making him a national hero and an icon of tenacity.
Canelo is beating these guys with all 5 layers of defense. Number 1, feet. Number 2, elbows, hands, shoulders, and the mind. This is exactly how both of those guys got to the highest level of boxing supremacy. Canelo Alvarez means to the Mexican fans what Floyd Money Mayweather meant for black people. 50 wins in boxing, no losses, no draws. And call it more.
Shawn Porter, a former welterweight champion, has expressed concerns about Terence Crawford's ability to withstand Canelo Alvarez's power. While Porter recognizes Crawford's toughness, he questions whether Crawford can endure the physicality of a naturally larger and stronger opponent like Canelo. He advises Crawford to focus on movement and defensive tactics to avoid exchanges, especially since moving up to super middleweight introduces new challenges. Porter's insights highlight the complexities of this fight and the importance of preparation against such a formidable opponent.
The others say, like, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he's still got that kind of steam. But, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a great, a legend. It's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo has, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another. You know what I mean? We tried to do that with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and we see how that panned out.
Promoter Eddie Hearn describes the upcoming showdown between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford as a freak fight, mainly due to their significant weight differences. Crawford, who has fought at welterweight and middleweight, will move up to super middleweight to face Canelo, the reigning champion at this weight. On fight night, Canelo may weigh between 185 and 190 pounds, while Crawford could weigh around 168 to 170 pounds, creating a notable size and power gap. Despite Crawford's impressive accomplishments, Hearn questions whether he can overcome the physical disparity, suggesting that the size advantage for Canelo might be a critical factor in the outcome.
How is Crawford going to be able to bridge this weight gap?
I don't think he can, in all honesty. I mean, he might not be able to bridge it on Saturday.
Yeah.
So,
one weight class.
68, yeah, but you're coming up from 35, 35, 40, 47, 54. Sooner or later, it's one too many. And 68 is definitely too many. But Crawford's brilliant. Like, he's a genius. He's a generational great. So maybe he can find a way to do it. But I feel he'd be hugely outside against Canelo Alvarez. But you have to use your movement. If you're Terence Crawford in that fight, the last thing you want to do is stand and trade. He'd be moving a lot in that fight. Trust me. I'm not saying he'd be running, but he would be moving a lot. Of course, it's the way to beat him.
Yeah.
Boxing expert Dan Raphael provides an in-depth analysis of the highly anticipated September 12, 2025, fight between Crawford and Canelo in Las Vegas. He highlights Crawford's bold move to challenge Alvarez at super middleweight, emphasizing the added physical challenges. Raphael praises Crawford's technical skill and adaptability but notes that the increased weight could pose unforeseen difficulties. Meanwhile, he underscores Alvarez's strength, experience, and tactical acumen, making him a tough opponent. The battle is seen as a legacy-defining event, with implications that extend beyond titles, shaping the future of boxing and cementing the status of both fighters.
What's your message for fighters who will fight you in the future? Obviously not Crawford, but with that kind of mindset, they just want to last the distance.
That's a mediocre mind. That's a mediocre mind because they come just to survive, to go to the 12th round. That's a mediocre mind. You need to put a good fight there and put great show. You know what I mean?
Do you think Crawford will employ the same tactics from boxing?
I hope not. I hope not because the people deserve a good fight.
What do you make of the Crawford fight next?
Huh?
How excited are you for the Crawford fight?
I'm excited. I'm gonna enjoy this win and then.
What do you think of Ryan Garcia's former champion?
Veteran Roy Jones Jr. emphasizes that Canelo Alvarez's strategic approach will be crucial in his fight against Crawford. Jones warns that if Alvarez underestimates Crawford or deviates from a disciplined game plan, he risks defeat. He advocates for Alvarez to leverage his size, power, and ring intelligence while remaining respectful of Crawford's versatility. Jones stresses that a focused, well-planned fight is essential for Alvarez to secure victory against such a skilled and adaptable opponent.
This is Jonathan Aguilar here for Pro Boxing Fans, joined by, does he need any introduction, Hall of Fame legend Roy Jones Jr. here in the UK. So a few questions about the US guys. Obviously, Tank and Lamont Roach, we saw the first fight, Lamont Roach shot the world. What do you think happens in a rematch if they fight?
I think he shocked the world again. But the only thing different this time is Tank will come with a different attitude, different personality, different motivation. And I think Roach will do good again, but I think Tank will be more dominant this time.
And obviously we know if Canelo wins against William Skull, he will fight Terence Crawford in September. Who would you favour in that fight?
You know, it's a hard one to call. I'm going to tell you why it's hard to call. It's a hard call because they'll all be predicated upon how Canelo approaches the fight. Canelo approaches the fight like he's the man that he can box and outbox Terence Crawford, he'll get beat. If he comes out and shows that he really wants to go out and prove whether he feels the best, he might win. So it all depends on which Canelo comes to the.
Boxing analyst Edgar Berlanga raises concerns about the size disparity in the upcoming fight, labeling it a mismatch due to the significant weight difference. While acknowledging Crawford's superior skill and intelligence, Berlanga believes Alvarez's size advantage as a super middleweight could be the deciding factor. He points out that Crawford's mental toughness and technique are impressive but wonders if they can offset the physical disadvantages. Berlanga suggests that if the weight gap were smaller, the fight might be more evenly matched, but the current disparity poses a serious challenge.
Friend, my brother, Terence Crawford, wants to fight Canelo.
Yeah.
Just from your expert opinion, knowing how Canelo fights, what he's like in the ring, I know you haven't been in the ring with Terence, but what do you think of that fight?
I truly believe, that, anything can happen in boxing, you know what I'm saying? And Terence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that, is his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody and probably do way better, you know what I'm saying? But Crawford is a legend, bro.
Yeah.
And like I said, you can't count him out.
Ryan Garcia confidently predicts that Canelo Alvarez will win his upcoming super fight against Crawford, citing Alvarez's size, power, and mastery of his style as key advantages. Garcia criticizes Crawford's performance at lighter weights, believing he lacks the strength necessary to compete at 168 pounds. He asserts that Canelo's experience and ring savvy will lead him to victory, emphasizing the physical and strategic advantages that favor the Mexican champion over Crawford's technical skills.
Just a few weeks ago, you heard what Terence Crawford had to say on why he wants to take on Canelo Alvarez.
I just want the opportunity, to fight the best fighter in my generation that's out there. He's the most accomplished fighter, and I would just like to fight another great.
It's a very noble reason. It's a reason that I can get behind. If you notice, his primary reason is money. He did say with this fight, which you do want a big fight, but I don't think he meant out to which the money comes. But what he's saying is he wants to test himself versus the best. I think he's telling the truth, right? Of course you want big money or something like that, but I think his bomb song is just him testing himself up against the very best. Those are the reasons for it.
Terence Crawford openly states that his motivation to fight Canelo Alvarez stems from both competitive ambition and financial opportunity. He views the matchup as a perfect business proposition, offering a chance to elevate his profile and secure a lucrative purse. Crawford sees this fight as an essential step in his career development, combining his desire for greatness with the commercial potential of facing a high-profile opponent like Alvarez, despite some skepticism about his true intentions.
Canelo fight, realistically left your mind once he said he's not interested, or you still pursuing it?
Not at all. I think business calls. With the right business come across the table, it happen. I just be talking, man. Canelo a big dude, But at the same time, I believe in my abilities. He's not
he's a heavy dude, but he's not a big guy. Like he's 5'8", I'm 5'8". You know what I mean? 'Cause my arm's longer than his. You know, so that fight would be good.